You know what I've been thinking about, Rick? How much of the anxiety and depression people deal with could actually come from the food they're eating? Like, literally from the hormones inside the meat.
Oh yeah, Joe, you're talking about cortisol, right? Stress hormone. Animals in factory farms are basically living in a torture chamber before they get slaughtered. They're scared, they're packed in, they know what's coming, that stuff floods their system.
Exactly. And then we eat it. People don't think about that. Like, you're chewing on a steak, but what you're really doing is chewing on some poor cow's last panic attack.
That's dark as hell, Joe, but you're not wrong. If stress leaves a chemical trace in the body, then mass-producing stressed-out meat means we're all just marinating in secondhand trauma.
And people wonder why everyone's so on edge. They're popping antidepressants, blaming social media, blaming politics. Maybe it's just because lunch was literally soaked in fear.
Yeah, like a low-grade possession. Why do I feel so restless today? Well, because your chicken nugget lived in a box the size of a shoebox and spent its last hour screaming in poultry Morse code.
Yeah, man, and then we just process that chemically. Imagine generations of humans raised on that diet. That's not just nutrition, that's epigenetics. You're passing on the echoes of factory-farmed panic to your kids.
Which explains why everyone's anxious and sad all the time. Half the population feels like they're living through an existential crisis. And maybe that's because their food literally was living through one before it hit the grill.
Damn. So instead of therapy, maybe we just need to stop eating cortisol steaks, go back to hunting, raising animals humanely, or at least eating wild game. Those animals die fast. They don't sit there in prolonged terror.
Right. A deer shot in the woods doesn't have time to get stressed out. 1 second it's chilling, next second, bang, lights out. No stress hormones dumped into the meat. It's clean protein.
Meanwhile, your average fast food burger is a cocktail of antibiotics, growth hormones, and straight up fear. You're basically eating depression patties.
That might be the real conspiracy, Joe. Forget chemtrails, forget 5G. The government's just feeding us anxiety sandwiches every day, and then they wonder why everyone's depressed and buying meds.
That's the kind of thing people don't want to admit because it's uncomfortable, but it makes way too much sense. Eat stress becomes stress.
Yeah, man, you are what you eat, and in this case, that means you're a terrified cow.
Well put.